Welcome to the January 11th, 2019 edition of the BitcoinNews.com daily podcast, where we cover the biggest stories of Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency, and do an in-depth, deep dive market analysis. This is your host, Space Marine, live from space. So things have calmed down a bit since yesterday. Yesterday we saw a pretty bad price crash on the Bitcoin market. It went from like 4,020 down to like 3,500 for like a second. Like first the crash was from 4,020 to 3,800. And then it went from like 3,800 to 3,500 for a second, but then it stabilized around 3,590, 3,600. And today's Bitcoin's price has crawled up like 1% since that crash. It's crawling up very slowly. It's at 36.50 right now on Bitstamp, so it's gone up like 1% or a little less than 1%. And this is kind of typical behavior after you see a huge, a market crash of any sort. It kind of bounces back the next day. That's basically people coming in and being like, well, Bitcoin's pretty cheap right now. It's cheaper than it probably should be, and it'll go up. Notably, yesterday Bitcoin crashed below that key $3,900 level. $3,900 is probably the level the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Bitcoin futures traders took out their positions for the month after the December contract expiration on December 28, 2018. And it looks like they went short because $3,900 has been a harsh resistance level, and Bitcoin went above that level briefly because of a short squeeze, but now it plunged below that level, down to 3,600 now, 3,650, actually 3,660. It's going up slightly all day. It's going up a little as I talk, but $3,900 will keep on being that level to watch. I think Bitcoin will face very tough resistance at 3,900. But that being said, it's at like 36.60 right now, so there's some room for it to go up a little maybe. But also keep in mind, $3,900 the level where they took out the shorts. They probably want it to be a little lower than $3,900, like where it is now, to get the short sell profits. And the futures markets are a pretty big influence over the Bitcoin market. I mean, the biggest one, CME, which runs through Globex, the same people that control the gold market with paper gold on COMEX. And then we also have BitMEX, Bitfinex, tons more than that. There's lots of futures exchanges, and they all kind of work in unison to short Bitcoin. They make money off Bitcoin going down. That's why Bitcoin went down from 20,000 to where it is now. Essentially, the day the CME Bitcoin futures launched, December 17, 2017, was the day Bitcoin started to crash. But yeah, like I said, it could possibly go up. And what could make Bitcoin go up right now? Well, like a stock market crash. The stock market's been kind of stable, surprisingly. It was going down really bad on Christmas Eve. That's when it hit its lowest. But now it's been going up, and the stock market is like, it's 2,000 points above where it was at Christmas Eve. But there's still a lot of people saying a global economic disaster is incoming. If that did happen, it probably won't be this month. And when it does happen, Bitcoin will be looked at as an independent sort of safe haven asset because Bitcoin's independent of the stock market for the most part. So, we'll probably see investors diverting their money into Bitcoin if the stock market crashes. I think it will crash. There's a lot of indicators that indicate it's going to crash, like manufacturing's way down. There's a huge debt bubble, a huge junk bond bubble, and they're all showing signs of like crashing. And the only thing that looks like it saved the stock market was like the government literally dumping money into it. Government and banks working in unison, often called the plunge protection team. Like they have all sorts of ways of pumping the stocks up. Today, the stock market has been very volatile. It was down hundreds of points at some times. Right now, as I'm talking, stocks are about to close. It's down 15 points. So that's been the trend. It will go down like hundreds of points in the middle of the day, but then they kick in their mechanisms to make it go up. They have mechanisms to start buying stocks. Like the government can slam the VIX. So they can make the VIX decline, the volatility index, and that causes automated trading robots to buy stocks. The Federal Reserve is a master at doing that. So yeah, we've seen this trend with stocks like going down bad in the early part of the day or the middle part of the day, and then by the time it closes, it's up. I think today it's down 15 points now. I think by the time it closes, it'll be up. So yeah, stocks are kind of like manipulated right now, but maybe later in 2019 we'll see that crash because they can't do this forever. It's gonna break. In fact, it almost makes it worse. But it's like trying to stop a disaster by like putting a patch on it. When the disaster finally strikes, the disaster will be much worse. How about the rest of the crypto market? What's going on there? Well, the total crypto market cap has crawled up just a little bit. It was at $122 billion at its lowest yesterday. Now it's $123.5 billion. So we've seen a gain of $1.5 billion since the crash yesterday. And Bitcoin's up less than 1%. Ripple's up like 1.2%. Ripple now has a $500 billion lead over Ethereum. So Ethereum was number 2 for like a few weeks probably. But Ripple was number 2 for most of like the latter half of 2018, I believe, once Ethereum really crashed out. But Ethereum took back its number 2 spot only to have it relinquished. Because Ethereum's not doing good today. Ethereum's actually down almost 2% today. That might be on jitters of the Constantinople hard fork coming. So essentially, the Constantinople hard fork is going to slash block rewards from 3 Ether to 2 Ether, among a bunch of other things to improve Ethereum, like lower transaction fees, better technology. But the miners are not happy about this, and there could be a bit of a mining conflict. So that's why I think Ethereum has lost the number 2 spot. It's going down relative to Ripple and Bitcoin, honestly. Ethereum was doing very good. Just like we saw with the Bitcoin Cash fork. Bitcoin Cash rallied pretty good before the fork, but then the tension started to build, and the fighting started, and the war started. And something similar is going on with Ethereum. Like, Ethereum went up like 80%. It was below $100, and then it went up to like $160, but now it's back down to $127. So Ethereum is going down steadily right now, right as this fork is about to happen within the next like several days. And that's going to be very interesting to watch, very important. Ethereum's the number 1 platform for smart contracts and dApps. It would be bad to see a huge war break out in it. I think Ethereum will survive. I don't know. It will keep the number 3 spot too, like because Ethereum has a $13.2 billion market cap, and Bitcoin Cash is number 4 or $2.3 billion market cap. Like Ethereum's over $10 billion ahead of Bitcoin Cash, and it's going to stay in number 3. But the Ripple's lead, like Ripple number 2 is going to solidify itself at number 2. It's probably going to be a long time before we see Ethereum overtake Ripple again because of this fork that's happening. The fallout could last a month or 2 or 3 from the Ethereum Constantinople fork. And by the way, long term, they're trying to get rid of the miners, but we've discussed that on past shows. Basically, they're trying to transition from proof of work to proof of stake. And that's going to be an ongoing thing for the long term, that transition. Bitcoin Cash is down over 2% today. And so basically anything that's down today just kind of continued the bear market situation from yesterday. The crash kind of continued a little bit slower, but it continued. We're seeing like Bitcoin and Ripple gone up a little, but Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash have gone down a little. So that just kind of shows the relative like confidence in these cryptocurrencies. EOS is like stable. Stellar down a bit, it's down almost 2%. Still holding above $2 billion market cap at number 6. Litecoin is down over 2%. Litecoin's interesting because Litecoin was way up. It was up 75% in like the past month until the crash happened. Then it went down like 10% or so. Maybe even 15%. Now it's going down even more today. I think Litecoin was kind of in a pump and dump. Even though Litecoin's a solid cryptocurrency, people were really starting to speculate on it. Just like with Tron. So Litecoin and Tron are in the same boat today. Tron was going up a lot. It was up like 165% until this crash happened and went down over 15%, and now it's down almost 4% today. So Litecoin and Tron were seeing kind of like a pump before this crash, and the crash that happened yesterday popped their bubble, and they're probably going into the dump now. It's not a good sign that when Bitcoin is going up a bit, that Litecoin and Tron is losing some value. Tron will be particularly hard hit. Litecoin didn't go too crazy with its rally. It's still a pretty good rally, but Tron's rally was like crazy, obvious pump and dump. And that's why Tron's down like 4% instead of like Litecoin's 2% today, probably. Bitcoin SV is down 1%, sitting at $75. Craig Wright was not correct that it's going to be taking over Bitcoin at this rate. $1.3 billion market cap for Bitcoin SV versus, let's see, $65 billion for Bitcoin. Yeah, no shot at Bitcoin SV being the Bitcoin number 1. There's only one Bitcoin, remember that. Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV are not Bitcoin. They're altcoins. IOTA is recovering some of its losses. It's up 2%. Monero is doing pretty good today. It's up 3%. Monero did really bad yesterday, though. So this is like a recovery, little rally. But Monero and IOTA are doing better than the other cryptos. They're up like 2 to 3%. Dash is up 1.3% at $75. Remember, every cryptocurrency did very poorly yesterday. So every single one. There was not one that went up. All right, now let's look at Dogecoin. $250 million market cap. Very steady today. Dogecoin's quite steady in general. And then USD coin's been very interesting to watch. So USD coin's just going up in market cap every day. Something changed. Like before they were doing good when they first launched. They gained like $100 million of circulation. But now every day I look at them, they've gained tens of millions of dollars every passing day. USD coin's going to make a real attempt here, it looks like, to be the number 1 stablecoin. Tether lost a lot of its reputation. So Tether's the number 1 stablecoin right now. And by the way, it's at $1.03. It's way above parity. It's not stable. So Tether has had stability issues. It lost its bank account in October and November, and now it's banked in a small bank in the Bahamas called Deltec. Versus USD Coin, which is run by Circle and Coinbase. They have really solid bank accounts in the United States. So I think USD Coin's obviously going to take over Tether long term. And it's kind of happening now. So $355 million market cap / circulation for USD Coin. And it's still way below Tether, but that could change if this keeps going on. Like, Tether's not really gaining market cap at all, while USD Coin is gaining it pretty quick. So I think USD Coin could catch up over the next couple months. It's going to be a slow process. It won't happen in one day, but it will probably happen. And we'll see the true power of a stablecoin. Like, USD Coin is probably never going to have a banking problem, so it could grow to the size of Tether and then way beyond. That'll be good for the market, I guess. That'll give some confidence to the stablecoin market. And then that's about it for the market analysis. One coin I do want to mention is Burstcoin. They've been having some problems recently, but they seem to be resolving them. Like, the proof of capacity consortium, the POCC, kind of like abandoned ship. And now they have a bunch of developers that are hardcore cypherpunks developing instead of the POCC. But anyways, yesterday Burstcoin went down like only 5% from what I could see. And now today it's up 7%. So the crash yesterday has already been negated for Burstcoin. Like, Burstcoin was very steady like Dogecoin. Dogecoin only went down 7%. But it didn't rally today. Burstcoin didn't go down that much yesterday, and it rallied today. Burstcoin's doing good. So that's all we have for you today on this January 11th, 2019 edition of the BitcoinNews.com Daily Podcast. Come back tomorrow for another exciting episode, and go to BitcoinNews.com 24/7 for the full spectrum of Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency analysis. This is your host, Space Marine, signing out, going back to space.